What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Shabazz. Welcome to the channel. So, as you guys already know, or if you haven't known, One Piece is my favorite anime of all time. Right? Some of you guys might think it's trash, but I don't care. It's my favorite. But I'm gonna be honest. Some of the arcs in One Piece didn't really hit the mark that it was supposed to hit. Right? But others unexpectedly hit some highs that a lot of anime, even One Piece, will never be able to top again. So today, we're going to go through each arc in One Piece and determine whether or not it was a trash can or stuff of legends. And we're going to do that via tier maker. Yeah. But before you get started, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, tell a friend to tell a friend. And without further ado, enjoy the video. All right, so before we get started, I took the liberty of removing all of the anime filler arcs. For those who don't know what fillers are, they're basically arcs that don't really connect with the main story. So I took out all of them. I didn't watch them because I was like, I don't need to watch that. So I just took them out. So that's fine. All right, so we got Golded Tier, amazing, valid, decent. So like it was okay, but could have been better. Trash can, and that's pretty much it. Once you hit the trash can, which is I'm looking at them like a couple of them hit that trash can mark, but we'll get to there when we get there. But you guys are ready? Because I'm ready. Get your water, grab a snack, take a sip of my water real quick. All right, so let's go. Romance Dawn, the beginning arc of One Piece. We meet everyone's favorite rubber boy, Luffy. We meet Kobe, our favorite Marine. We meet Zoro, who's locked up, and Luffy saves Zoro, which then causes Zoro to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna follow you. My ambition is to be the world's greatest swordsman, and Luffy's to be the pirate king." So, feel me? Like they go right hand, right hand. Oh my god, I don't know what I'm saying. Romance Dawn, right? The first arc in One Piece was pretty solid. Pretty solid. I think it was valid. Um, I feel like it started off perfect. Like it's a good starting point to the story, which at this point has 1,000+ episodes. Like episodes 1 through like I think 4 or 5. Pretty short. We meet Luffy, we meet Kobe, we meet Zoro, um, and we just find out people's ambitions. We get Luffy saying he wants to be the king of the pirates. We get Zoro saying he wants to be the world's greatest swordsman. So, and we get Zoro becoming the right hand man to Luffy. So, it was all valid. It was pretty valid. I liked it. All right, Orange Town. I don't know why it says Syrup Village. Orange Town is next. Orange Town was cool. We introduced Tsunami. We get introduced to Buggy and his band of pirates. It was decent though. I feel like it was underwhelming. Not really underwhelming, but it was just there. Shout out to the little dog guarding the pet shop. But it was cool. It was fine. I liked it a lot. Mind you, a lot of these arcs I thoroughly enjoyed, but some are just better than others. Okay, but Orange Town was okay. It was okay. All right, Syrup Village. We meet our lovable liar Usopp, and this is low key getting me like goosebumps because like I'm going back to where it all started to where it is now. Like I'm loving this trip to Mary Lane. All right, and my One Piece knowledge is like refreshing it a little bit. Syrup Village, we meet Usopp and we meet the Going Merry, which is the first ship that the Straw Hats get before the Thousand Sunny. We'll get to that a little later. But for an arc, I thought it was pretty valid. We meet Captain Kuro, which for me when I first started watching One Piece, I had glasses. So Captain Kuro doing his little thing with the pushing his glasses up so he wouldn't scratch his eyes with his cat claws. Like it was fire. And like I was always like copying that, like when I first started watching One Piece. So I got contacts now, but it was cool. It was cool. Meeting the Golden Mary was dope. But yeah, I thought it was pretty valid. I thought it was a pretty valid arc for context, right? All right, so now we got the Baratier. Baratier is an restaurant in the sea, right? So it's pretty famous, right? You got a restaurant in the sea, and this is where we meet Sanji, our lovable cook, and this it had me, bro, because Sanji's backstory, well, I guess pre-backstory, because we'll get to that later, but he kind of has two backstories. Him and Redfoot Zeph, which is he was a former pirate but gave up piracy kind of to save Sanji and lost his leg, and he starved for like I think like a good month while Sanji ate everything, and it was crazy. It was insane. The story was good. It had me, so definitely it was not amazing, but it was valid. I'm gonna take Syrup Village down because Veratier was definitely like one of the better earlier arcs in One Piece. And then actually, nah, it was amazing. Fuck that. We get Zoro versus Mihawk. So for context, Zoro he wants to be the world's greatest swordsman. The current world's greatest swordsman was Mihawk, Dracula Mihawk for me. And in order to be the world's greatest swordsman, you need to beat the current one. So he, by string of luck, Zoro meets Mihawk, fights Mihawk, gets absolutely cooked. Like when I say cooked, he gets cooked, and like we get a powerful speech like "I will never lose again" until I defeat him and take his title. We get to see the world's greatest blade, the Yoru. It was dope. But yeah, so that fight alone made it amazing. Um, and you know, I love One Piece because it's not just people, not just a band of pirates always taking W's. Like they take L's, a lot of L's, and it's okay because they get stronger because of it. Like Zoro took an L to Mihawk at Baratier, but who knows? But even today, it will be a closer competition. So we'll see. Arlong Park. Arlong Park was for me why like it got me hooked on One Piece. So for me, I think Arlong Park is goaded, right? For me, because you see, this is where Nami. You see Nami's backstory, how her adopted mother was a former Marine. She adopted her and her sister, and you see Arlong being a dirtbag, and Luffy like so Luffy for context in the beginning of the arc, he always kept his straw hat with him because of Shanks. We learned that in the Romance Dawn arc. I think like we look like that flashback happened a lot in the beginning of One Piece. To be honest with you, but I feel like it was just for is the symbolism of like, yo, this is my treasure, but hold on to this, right? Because Nami was stabbing herself and like, yo, like she was really going crazy, and Luffy was like, yo, like you're my friend, like let me help you out. And that cry, like, yo, Luffy, help me. Like even like I'm about to get mad emotional, but like yo, it really like had me, and like Arlong wanted to use Nami for her navigational skills and drawing the map, but Luffy just wanted her to be his friend. And I know like power, friendship, stuff like that, kind of cliche, but like he wasn't trying to use her. If anything, he was just trying to help her. So it was just fire. It was just fire. And then you see the backlash from Zoro's fight with Mihawk. This dude is like scraped up, and you see it. If I can't even describe it. So if you know, you know. It's one of those like moments, right? But I think Arlong Park was one of the best arcs. Early One Piece, one of the best arcs that kind of like made me be a bigger fan. Logtown. So Logtown is the town of the beginning and the end. Logtown is the place where the King of the Pirates, current or former Goldie Roger, um, he died. He was born there and he died there. Um, so this base has very historical like meaning to it, right? So we get introduced to Smoker, who's one of the vice admirals. And then well, I think he's a commodore at this point, but he's one of the like a good. He's a good officer. He's a pretty strong officer, and if it wasn't through the plot, low key the story would have ended right there because he was cooking Luffy. But by plot, I mean we get a glimpse of seeing who Luffy's father was. Um, Luffy's father, Draken, Monkey D. Draken. He's the leader of the Revolutionary Army, and it was dope. It was dope. The whole arc itself was pretty dope. Little like fillers here and there, little episodes here and there. We meet Tashigi, who's a sword fiend, who reminds Zoro of his dead friend. They look just alike. Theory that she never really died. She just got sent to the Navy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They are probably be looking for me right now because I said that. I don't know. But we see a little like mini arcs. It's not mini filler episodes that like it just worked. You know, I'm not really a fan of. I'm not the biggest fan of filler, but for this, I feel like it was pretty dope. So actually, no, I think Long Time was amazing. I'm lying. Long Time was amazing. Reverse Mountain. So for Reverse Mountain, the One Piece world is separated into a couple of different like sections, right? You get you got the north, south, east, and west blue, right? In the middle, you have the Grand Line, which is connecting everything. You got the red line, which is that line, which is the red like this is like the physical barrier that separates all of the coasts together. And in order to get from one side to another, you gotta climb up Reverse Mountain. And this was where each of them, which so at this point we have Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Usopp, and Nami. These are the five, the main five, the first five of the crew. And this is where they all say their ambitions. Sorry, they all say their ambitions like, oh, I want to be king of the pirates for Luffy. I want to be the world's greatest swordsman. I want to find the all blue, which is the for Sanji, which is like the it's like a mystical reality where like all the coasts connect to find like one ocean where all the fish from like the north blue and the south blue, east blue, west blue, like everything all comes together. And Nami wants to draw a map of the whole world, and Usopp wants to be a brave warrior of the sea. So like them seeing their ambitions, it wasn't really much, but I thought it was pretty solid. But I think it was decent. Not the worst arc, but for what it represented, I thought it was pretty decent. All right, Whiskey Peak. So they're in the Grand Line. This is the first island they get to in the Grand Line, and this is where they meet Vivi. They meet a lot of other people, a lot of other characters. Some of them have no significance, but it was kind of just there. So I'm not gonna say I'm like it was. We see like a little skirmish between Luffy and Zoro, which was cool. But so Whiskey Peak, for context, everyone in there is assassin. Like they're like a band of not pirate hunters, but like they're more like a band of like I won't even want to say bandits, but they're just a group called Baroque Works, and they work for a guy named Crocodile who that's in the Alabasta arc. We'll get to that, but it was cool. It was cool. But for in terms of the arc in like the beginning stages, I thought it was trash. I thought it was kind of trash. It was just there. I didn't really enjoy it. There was like moments that I enjoyed, but as an arc itself, it was nah. Little Garden, Little Garden. It kind of just it came and went. I feel like it was just there, but a lot of the stuff that was talked about in this arc connects to a lot of the future, which knowing that now was like okay, like that's dope. But at the moment, me watching it, I was like, it was okay. It was pretty decent. You're meeting Dory and Broggy, who are two giants who've been fighting for like 100 years or so, and it was just dope. And it was okay. Them two fighting were dope. A lot of the other stuff that happened with in between this arc was just there. It was just kind of there, but it was okay. All right, Drum Island. Drum Island was it was pretty dope. We meet Chopper, our favorite, I guess mascot you would say, but we all know he's more powerful than that. He's not just a mascot; he's a doctor. He's the person keeping everybody alive. Yeah. So we meet Chopper, and it's dope. Chopper's interaction with his kind of like adopted father was dope. He eats devil fruit, which turns him into like a human. So like him being ostracized for being different it kind of sucked, but knowing his backstory was like, okay, like we see why you are the way you are, and you want to be a doctor because your old man was a doctor. Your mentor, Dr. Reen, who's old as fuck, she is like 100. Not playing. She might be immortal, no cap. But it was dope. It was dope. I thought the arc was amazing. I thought not amazing. I thought it was pretty valid. I like the way it ended. It got me like it had me in like the heartstrings, but it was cool. Now Alabasta is goated, bro. Alabasta is one of those arcs where boys become men, and it was cool. It was cool to read. I said read. Cool watching. We meet Crocodile, who is. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to put my my laptop here. But Alabasta was one of those arcs where it was just dope to see. We see Crocodile, he was a warlord. This is where we get introduced, like not introduced to warlord, but like we gotta get to like see like the corrupt side of the government because so in the pirate system you got regular run of the mill pirates and then who kind of keep them in check are warlords and then who keep those in check are Yonkos and like that's a whole like Yonko world government revolutionary army like that whole like balance of power because you don't want to piss off a Yonko. And if you're a regular run-of-the-mill pirate, you're not trying to press a Yonko because you're not strong enough yet. You don't have the influence that these Yonko have. So, Crocodile was a warlord of the sea. So is Arlong. I forgot to mention that. But it was cool. It was cool. And seeing that happen, it was all right. It was okay. Mr. One, seeing Zoro like level up his abilities in a little bit, getting his first bounty. Um, Luffy getting 100 million bounty was like what like oh no this is dope so like kind of putting the Straw Hats on the map like Alabasta like Arlong Park was cool and like it helped them like level up like in terms of like seriousness but Alabasta really put the Straw Hats mainly Luffy and Zoro on the map which for me those are the goats so you gotta do it. Jaya was a mini arc which it was okay. We Bellamy. Bellamy. You'll know what I mean by that in a little bit. So Jaya, you get the it's like a rumor of a city of gold up in the sky, and this is where you meet Blackbeard, who is right now the main antagonist of the series because every move he making, he's just like mad finesse with it. So, but we'll get to that later. But Jaya, we meet Bellamy. Um, he's kind of weak, but he acts like he's stronger than what he is. And low key, if Luffy ain't say nothing, Bellamy would have chopped his head off. I said Bellamy. Zoro would have chopped his head off, no hesitation. But it was cool. It was decent. It was just there. It was alright. Scarpia though, Scarpia is part of the main story. So if you're watching One Piece for the first time, please don't listen to these TikTokers that say, "Oh, you don't need to watch Scarpia." Scarpia, for context, is amazing. It's amazing, bro. It's just watch it, no problem. And I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, Alabasta is where we meet our lovely archaeologist Nico Robin. She works for Crocodile. We get to know a little bit more of her backstory, a little bit, not a lot, but she basically like had a. I'll touch on that a little later. But she joins the crew after she was with Crocodile, and then Luffy saved her life. So now she joins the crew. Kind of dope. Short and simple. Scarpia was pretty valid. I thought it was pretty valid. Talk about wasted potential. Enel literally had a thunder devil fruit. I think I want to say a thunder based devil fruit, lightning based devil fruit, and got smoked because of elemental and science, bro. Like because rubber, like you can't shock leather. You can't shock rubber and like gold. I was like, there's a whole like a science to it. I was like, bro, like, you really like that's the cop out. But this is where we get kind of introduced to like hockey, which is, if you don't know, is like kind of like your like it's like a technique that you can learn and master. You got arm in hockey, which is like you can harden your spirit, harden your physical body. Observation, which is like you can like everything you see, you can like kind of predict your movements. Kind of like a Sharingan, kind of like a Sharingan. And Conqueror's hockey, which is like showing your will. Like if you have a strong enough will, you can kind of like attack with that will and make people bow down to you. But we get kind of introduced to that concept of hockey. He called like they call it a totally different thing up in the sky. But other than that, it was cool. The arc itself was cool. We get introduced to like the poneglyphs and like the golden poneglyphs, like because King Roger, Goldie Roger traveled the same route. He did everything. He traveled the whole world. So like this is where we first see an imprint that he was at a spot. And Nico Robin, who who's from an island called O'Hara, they can decipher poneglyphs and they can understand the language. So she was able to read it. And that's kind of the reason why everyone and their moms is after her. Like the government, other pirate crews, they're after her because she can read it. But yeah. Okay. Long Ring Long Land. Um it was okay. Like we get it's kind of like so back in the day they kind of these things called Davy back fights. Where if you know like Davy back, he was like one of those like pirates that you just hear stories of, like SpongeBob I think mentions it, like Davy Jones and stuff like that. But like pirates would fight many like battles, like it's like Mario Party or whatever, and the winning crew would take like a member, take the Jolly Roger, or take other something from the losing crew. So the whole arc was based on that, and it was okay. We met Foxy, and he was funny. He's like a guy character, but other than that, it was pretty solid. Pretty solid. Not gonna lie, pretty solid. Pretty solid. But decent. Decent at best. Decent at best. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of arcs in One Piece. So I'm not gonna do this all in one video. I'm gonna break this down into multiple parts. So stay tuned for part two. Stay tuned for part two. But until then, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.